All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in today. We are going to be doing our math lesson on, what do you think? Fractions, yes. It was also in the title of the class, if you noticed when you clicked on it. But yes, we are going to be doing fractions today. So we've been working a lot on decimals, and if you can do decimals, then you can definitely do fractions. So that is what we are going to do today, and I have a lot of things planned. We may not get through all of it today, but that's okay. If not, then we will continue on with it next week. And as usual, here's our mental math questions. I've got 12 of them in here today. Take your time, go through all the ones that you know how to do. Don't worry about telling me which ones you want to do for everybody right now. Just worry about going through all the questions on your own, okay? The time is for this clock right here. This one is trying to find the pattern. This one's a little tricky, but I think you guys can do it. And word problems, addition, division, meters to kilometers, which we've been doing quite a bit lately. Addition. This is one that you may not know what this word means, tessellate. And if you have no idea what tessellate means, then don't worry about it. We will talk about this together, okay? Addition with a decimal, so don't forget to line up your numbers. And another one with a decimal here, shapes, subtraction. Most of these are pretty easy, but like I said, if you get to one and you don't know what to do, just skip it. All right, go ahead and start working if you haven't already, and let me know when you're ready. Okay, I see Fadila and Claudia, your hands are up, but I bet that you can do even more of those. So if you have the answers to the ones you're sure of, that's fine. Go ahead and look over some of the ones that you are not quite as sure of, but I bet you can figure them out. Good morning, Tileha. Hope you're doing well this morning. We just got started on our mental math questions, so go ahead and jump on in and just do the ones you know how to do. Oh, hi, Saleha. Can you hear me now? I wasn't talking. There was nothing going on. Okay. Sure, Claudia, I'll go ahead and give you 8. Gabriel, sure, you can do 1. You're welcome. All right, for those of you who are still working, we have a few more minutes left. I don't want to rush you guys. We have also 3, 5, 6, 10, and 11, if anybody would like to do those on our whiteboard here. Sure. Oh, wait. You are right, Claudia. Sorry about that. Whoops. Okay, we're going to make this a G. That's a G now. Okay. And we're going to just cross this out. This is C. All right, is that better? Mikhail, are there any of them that you would like to do on the whiteboard? I did see it, Fadila, but Saleha hadn't asked for any of them yet, and so that was the first one she asked for, and since you already had those two, I gave Saleha number 12. I just gave it to you, sweetie. I changed the C into a G. Sorry, Mikhail, are there any of the other ones that you'd like to do? They are hard, yeah. Sure, Fadila, let me go to you. The F on number 11. All right, we'll probably just leave the rest now. All right, and I'll go ahead and turn the whiteboard tools on. If you have one assigned to you, go ahead and do it. And Michaela, I haven't given you any, but if you want any of the ones that don't have a name next to them, you can. If not, just go ahead and wait. Okay, whiteboard's on. That's okay, Michaela. Gabriel, you have number 1, too, if you want to do it. Mikhail, if you're not working on anything, I need you to keep your mouse still, okay? Good morning, Zayed. No problem, Mikhail. Excuse me. All right, I think that's us done for all the ones that we had said that we know how to do. All right, so let's go ahead and check what we've got. For the time on our clock here, we have our hour hand after the 4, but not quite at the 5 yet. So we know that we're still going to say that it is 4 something. So if we know our minute hand is at the 8, and if we know how to count by 5s, then we can quickly figure this out. Or if we just remember that 40 minutes is at the 8 right here. So 4:40. Excellent. Now our clock like this doesn't tell us if it is AM or PM. So it could be 4:40 in the morning, or it could be 4:40 in the afternoon. All right, let's look here. We have a pattern right here. Now Fadila did this one. Fadila, what was the pattern? How did you know that it was going to be 21 right here? All of your numbers are getting bigger, so you're adding something. What were you adding to each number? Okay, so if you started at the beginning, you had 1. Your next number was 5. So what did you have to add to get to the 5? You had to add 4, right? So 1 plus 4 is 5. Now let's try it with the next one. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 4 is 17. And 17 plus 4 is 21. Excellent. All right, here we have a word problem. If the day before yesterday was Tuesday, what day will tomorrow be? All right, so the day before yesterday was Tuesday. So this is going to require some working out, I think. So we'll say this is today. Okay? Now the day before yesterday. So we'll say this is yesterday. Oops. We'll just say yesterday, like this. Okay, and that means that the day before that was Tuesday. We know this is Tuesday, right? The day before yesterday. So now we need to figure out what day is tomorrow going to be. Tomorrow. Oops. All right, so if we know this is Tuesday, that means yesterday was Wednesday. We'll just do W for Wednesday. Today is what then? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that means tomorrow is going to be what? Friday. Friday is our answer, right? Tomorrow is going to be Friday if today is Thursday. This is one that's very tricky. It's hard to do it in your head. So just write it out and use your visual here to figure it out, okay? All right, number 4, pretty easy one. We're adding our numbers here. 60 plus 90 is 150. We should all be pretty comfortable with that. All right, number 5, we didn't have an answer for that one yet. And number 6, we didn't have an answer for yet. So let's look at, sorry, excuse me. All right, number 7, sorry about that. 25 plus 15 is going to give us 40. Great. All right, now number 8 we had some questions about because of our big word here, tessellate. Does anybody know how to explain what tessellate means? We had an answer to our question. Claudia gave it to us. Will this shape right here tessellate? And she said yes, and that's correct too. How do we know that? What does tessellate mean? Don't know. Oh, I like this. So using it to decorate like a pavement or mosaics. So I have a picture I wanted to share with you to show you what that means. So here, I'm going to share my screen. Just a second. Okay, you should see it sharing in just a second, and then I can show you what a picture of this is. Lots and lots of screens. So this is what I wanted to show you here. Can you guys see this? Yep, perfect. Okay, I couldn't read you. So when we say that a shape is going to tessellate, it's usually the same exact shape over and over again, but you might switch it around a little bit. Like this is the same diamond shape, but it is all fitting together. So the main way you would know it tessellates is if there are no spaces. See how these circles are not going to tessellate because they're going to leave spaces in between the shapes. But these are shapes that tessellate because there are no white spaces in there. These will, these will, these will. But round shapes like this that are not going to fit perfectly together, they will not tessellate. All right. Let me go ahead and turn this off. Perfect. Okay. So I think we've got what tessellate means. Now let's look at number 9. So this is adding a decimal, or adding a number with a decimal point. And she did a great job. We have 7.6, or we could say 7 6/10, adding 6. So we're just going to add the 7 and the 6 together because everything after the decimal point is separate. So 7 plus 6 is 13. 7.6, so we have to carry that over here, 13.6. Great. All right, let's skip 10 for a second. Look at number 11, a 5-sided polygon. And remember, when we say polygon, we pretty much just mean shape. So a 5-sided shape is a pentagon. You remember if you were in the language class with me where we talked about root words, Greek and Latin root words, penta is a root that means 5. So if you see any other words that have penta in it, usually has something to do with 5. Just a little fun fact for you there. All right, let's look at number 12 here. 15 minus 8 is 7. This is another pretty easy one. All right, let's go back to the ones that we weren't so sure about. Number 5, we have 6 divided by, or sorry, I always read these backwards, 97 divided by 6. So if we're going to work this out, does anybody have the answer to this? Does anybody know the answer if you joined us a little late? If not, we can work it out a long ways. I'll keep my pen tool. All right, so I'm going to write it over here and you guys can follow along with me. We have 97 and we are dividing it by 6. So the first thing we have to do, think about our number here. How many times can 6 fit into this number? Well, that is a lot. So let's take it one number at a time. We have 9 right here. So how many times can 6 fit into 9 perfectly? Not 3 times, right, Fadila? Just once. Because if we had 6 times 1, that's just 6, right? If we had 6 times 3, that's going to give us 18, and that's much more than 9. So we can't have that. So let's write our 1 up here. And now we're going to multiply this way, just as a reminder to ourselves. So 1 times 6 is 6. So I'm going to write this 6 right here. Now, what do I have left over if I subtract that? I was able to fit 6 into 9 one time. So that's basically like saying 9 minus 6. And now what is that going to give me? 9 minus 6. 3. Correct. I'm going to bring my 3 right here. Now, can 6 fit into 3? No, it's too big. So we're going to bring this 7 down. So now this is a little tricky, but if we know our multiplication tables, then we can get a pretty good answer to this very quickly. 6 into 37. How many times can 6 fit into 37? We might not know right away, but we do know our 6 multiplication tables, right? So we know that 5 times 6 is 30, right? What is 6 times 6? No twos. What is 6 times 6? 36. Correct. And so if we had 6 times 6, that's going to give us 36. What if I did 6 times 7? That's going to give us 42, right? And that is too much. So I'm going to stick with my 6 right here. 6 times 6 is 36. I'm going to bring this here. All right. Sorry, this is a little messy. So 37 minus 36, what is my answer? 1, correct. 1 is my answer. Now, do I have anything else to bring down? Nope. And can 6 fit into 1? Nope. So that means I have a remainder, some leftover numbers, right? So the remainder is 1, and that is my answer. 16 with a remainder of 1. Does that kind of make sense? This is our long division. Great. Okay, I'm sure you guys have probably done some of this before, but it does take a little time. So there you go. We'll probably do some more of this later. All right, number 6. 2,500 meters. How many kilometers is that? So the first thing we need to remember is how many meters is just in 1 kilometer. And that's 1,000 meters are in 1 kilometer. So if we have 2,000 meters, that's going to give us 2 kilometers. But we have 2,500 meters. And we know 500 is half of 1,000. So Zayed said it first, 2.5. Or we could say 2.5. Same thing. 2.5 kilometers. Great. All right, let's go down to number 10. This is our last one. Write 44.04 as a numeral. So this is written out in words right here, 44.04. How would we write this with numbers? There you go, Claudia. Good job. And Fadila and Zaleha, all good. So 44.04. Now, this is correct. This is fine. If we were going to read this correctly, we would say 44 and for what? Are we going to say tenths or hundredths? No. Hundredths. Good, Zaleha. And Zayed. Good. Hundredths. Remember, after the decimal point, the first one is tenths, and this one is hundredths. So the second place after the decimal point is hundredths. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but you just have to keep practicing and try to remember. Yep. All right. Great job. We had some tricky ones in here today, but you guys did excellent. Okay. So let's go on to our main lesson today, which is fractions. Now, there's not too many fancy things to learn with fractions, but it is important that we remember when we see our fractions written, the top number is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator. Okay? That's good, Fadila. So you should be ready to go for this because we're going to be doing lots of stuff with fractions. All right, and I do have a video for us. Get it up. That's good. This is just to make sure because I've seen some of our worksheets. I've been getting some worksheets in the math classes with fractions or about fractions, and there have been a few mistakes with it. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So let me share this video. All right, everybody can hear it? Perfect. Okay. Okay, so I hope everybody was able to see that, hear that, all that good stuff. And I know a lot of you, as you said, you've done fractions before, but I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. So we have some easy stuff to do with fractions, and then we're going to build up to some trickier stuff with fractions. So I have 8 things here, and I have 7 people. So what I'm going to ask for you to do is write the fraction. So I'm just going to give people one. Claudia can do this one. Fadila can do this one. Zayed can do this one. Hale. Gabriel. Zaleha. And Yusuf. Okay? And I want you just to write the fraction next to it. Very simple. I'm going to do the last one. Gabriel, are you still working on yours? Oh, there it is. I see it. It is, Mikhail. We'll get to it in just a second. I'm just waiting for everybody to get some walking going on. Ah, Claudia, because you know that you can write your fraction another way, right? You can go ahead. Oh, not quite, Claudia, almost. Right. Good, Gabriel. Good, Saleha. Good, everybody else. Claudia, do you still want to try? That's okay, Claudia. No problem. But you got it right on this part here. So how many equal pieces of the shape are there? That's the first thing that we have to think of, right? So for this first one, there are 4 equal bars, equal rectangles, right? And then how many of them are shaded? 2 of them are shaded. So 2 out of the 4 are shaded. Now, Claudia, I think what you were trying to do is tell me another fraction, and that would be half, right? 1/2 of this shape is shaded. 1/2 in this case is the same thing as 2/4, right? What is half of the number 4? If we were going to divide it by 2, right? That's how we know we are going to get a half. Half of 4 is 2. And so that we know this is the same thing as this. Now, I don't think we have any others on here that work out that way. So this is the only one that is a little different, that we can say 1/2, and that is the same thing as 2/4. Gabriel has the same, or has a correct answer here. Out of 3 equal pieces, 1 of them is shaded. So that is correct. You're right, Claudia, there was another way. Out of this shape here, 3 equal pieces, 2 of them are shaded, so we would say 2/3. Soleil has had a lot of equal pieces. There were 8 equal pieces in this circle. 5 of them were shaded. So we could say this is 5/8. Down here, we had 3 equal pieces and 2 of them were shaded. So 2/3. Now this one is also 2/3. Do they look the same? Not exactly, right? They're different shapes. They are, each piece inside the shape is shaped differently. But out of this one shape here, this one big triangle, there are 3 equal pieces. And out of this one big rectangle, there are 3 equal rectangles. Okay, so we're not comparing these shapes to each other. We're only thinking about this one. That's right here. Here we have 5 equal pieces, and 2 of them are shaded, so 2/5. Here we had 6 equal pieces, 5 of them are shaded, so we can say 5/6. And our last one that I did, we had a square divided into 4 equal squares, 4 equal pieces, 3 of them were shaded, so we can say 3/4, or because fourths is a little different, we can say quarters, 3/4. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this is kind of working the other way. We have a shape here and a fraction here. So I want you to take this fraction and divide this shape into the correct fraction and shade the correct amount. Now, I will do this one because I think it's a little trickier, but I'll let you guys do these. Which ones would you like to do? Let's see. All right, I'm just going to start. Fadila, I'm going to give you that one. Oh, sure, Fadila. Fadila, all right, fine. And then Claudia, I'll give you this one then. And Yosef wanted this one. And Mikhail wanted this one. Anybody for the 4/5 one? Sure, Zayed. Okay. And I'm going to do this first one up here. So I gave you one. Go ahead. Split your shape into the appropriate amount of pieces and then shade the appropriate amount of pieces. Oh, so I don't think I got you one. Sorry. It weren't enough for everybody. All right, Claudia and Fadila, I'm seeing a problem with how you are doing these. Can you tell me what the problem is? You got it, Fadila. So the problem, and Claudia, this is applying to yours too. Your shapes or your sections that you've divided this into are not equal. So how can you make sure that your pieces in your shape are equal? Now this one's going to be maybe a little tricky. Claudia, you'll have an easier time with yours. All right. I think what I'm going to do is turn the whiteboard off because we're still having a little trouble with this. For our circle shapes especially, it's very important to try and keep everything as even as possible. Now, fifths are going to be tricky. I'm going to tell you right away, if you try to split your circle up like this with lines, it's going to be very, very difficult to tell if your shapes or if your sections are equal. It's going to be almost impossible to tell. So I'm going to look at, here, I'm going to take some of these away. Mikhail, I wanted to do yours over too. Okay, whoops. Okay, so let's look at Claudia's here. 3/4. So we have to split the circle into 4 pieces. So Claudia was doing our lines like this, but again, these middle pieces are going to be much bigger than these pieces on the edges, right? So to make sure that our pieces are equal, let me get my line tool out. We should just cut it in half. And then we should cut it in half again. Because we know if we cut our shape exactly in half that those two halves are equal. So here's Claudia's right here. And how many pieces do we have? 4, right? And each one of these is an equal shape. They are equal to each other. So now it's going to be much easier for us to figure out our fraction, right? 3 out of 4 are shaded. So I'm just going to make a little X right here. 1, 2, 3. That's okay. That's why we do these. So 3 out of 4 are shaded, or 3/4. Now, Fadila's was a little trickier because she has 5. So if I cut it right in half and then cut it in half again, and then cut it in half again, I'm going to have too many pieces, right? I'm going to have 6 pieces. So let me just make a middle point. A little dot in my circle. Oh, that was going to, oh, because it's not on the dot tool. There's my dot, right in the middle. So I can start right up here. Give myself a line here. Now I have to think 5 pieces. Now, they may not be perfectly equal because I'm drawing them, but I'm going to try. Here's 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Now, I accidentally made this one a little too big, but you guys can get the idea. Here, let me make this piece a little bigger. All right, so we're going to pretend that each of these is exactly equal, but it's a little closer, right? So again, if we were going to make lines straight up and down, our sections are not going to be perfectly equal, right? Mikhail, I need you to focus in the chat and stop making a bunch of emojis. So this way I can tell a little better anyway that my shapes are going to be My sections, I keep saying shapes, my sections are going to be equal. So how many am I going to shade? I have 5 equal pieces. 2 of them are going to be shaded. So I'm just going to shade this one here. 2 out of 5, or 2/5 are shaded. There we go. Same thing for my circle one down here, right? So if I don't have an even number down here, 3 is an odd number, right? 5 is an odd number. That's going to be a big clue that I can't just draw lines and half my circle. So I'm going to make my middle point, and it's easy if I just go ahead and start with one line that goes straight up. Now I have to have 3 equal pieces. Just like that. And how many am I going to shade? 1. I'm going to shade my fraction here. Now, let's look at this one. There's a couple ways we could do this. I saw what Mikhail was starting to do, and he was drawing straight lines. Now, because this is a rectangle, you can do that. You can just make lines straight up and down as long as you are sure that you're going to end up with 6 equal pieces. That is fine. Another way you can do this is to cut your rectangle in half. Actually, let me get my line tool back out because that looks a lot nicer. I can do this like this. I know, Mikhail, but you were taking a real long time. So I can cut it in half like this. Now, how many equal pieces do I have? 2. But I have to have 6 equal pieces. So I can cut it into pieces this way. Now, this is not exactly equal either. Here, let me do this. These pieces a little bit bigger. All right. Now, how many equal pieces do I have? 6. And how many am I going to shade? 5. 1, 2, 3. I don't have to shade them exactly like this. I could shade this one and this one, or this one and this one, and it doesn't matter because I'm still shading 5 out of 6. But it's usually easier if you kind of line them up like this. So 5 out of 6, or 5/6 are shaded. Now our last one here is I did great with this. Again, because it's a rectangle, we can just draw straight lines. That works just fine. And he drew 5 equal pieces, and 4 of them are shaded. Great. All right. I think this is going to be our last one today. So I want you to look at your shape here and write the correct fraction. So which part of this is shaded and which part of it is not shaded? That's what you're going to put here. Okay. And then down here, we are going to be looking at this spinner and writing fractions for that here. So let me get my text tool. I'm just going to start assigning them. Okay, so Claudia, please, can you do this one? Adila, please, this one. Gabriel, this one. Mikhail, this one. Zaleha, this one. Joseph, Zayed, and then we'll leave the last 2 for if anybody finishes their other stuff in time. So Fadila, you're going to look at your shape. Now, first thing you need to remember is how many equal pieces are there in your shape. That's going to be your denominator, so your bottom one. Zaleha, you're right here. And then you have to answer your questions. What part of your shape is shaded? And then what part of your shape is not shaded? That's what you're going to put over here. So write it in a fraction, okay? So Claudia, you've got your numbers right, but how would you write this in a fraction? So what fraction of your shape here is shaded? How many parts are shaded out of how many parts that you have? Zayed, why don't you try and do this next one here, since you're finished with yours. Mikhail, I need you to stop drawing pictures and answer your questions. Can't see anything, so I can... Oh, there you are. I can see you. So this is the one you're going to work on. So see if you can write here and see if we can see you. This one, Saleha. Oh, you can't see mine. Oh, this is really strange. Maybe everybody's having some trouble right now. Saleha, you're going to do the last one with the square that is divided into 4 equal pieces. It's the last one in the chart. Mikhail, are you going to work on yours? Because I don't see an answer right here. But I do see a picture that I don't want to see right now. Gabriel, stop drawing pictures, please. All right, I see Claudia's done. I see Gabriel's just finished. Mikhail's almost done. Saleha, I can tell that you're trying to write something, but I can't see yours either. That's okay. Zayed has written these for us down here. Thank you so much. All right, we'll give you just another minute. I think there might be something going on with the connection right now. I cannot, Fadila. Gabriel, stop. Yes, I can, Mikhail. All right, since we're having some trouble, let's just turn this off right now. I don't know why the connection seems to be bad. It was fine earlier, but anyway, we're just about done anyway. So let's just go ahead and go over the answers. So Claudia is here. We had our shape. It's divided into 3 equal pieces. 2/3 of those are shaded. 1/3 of those is not shaded. Great. Fadila had one. I don't know if you guys can see it. I cannot see it, but that's okay. So for Fadila, she had 1 circle. It's divided into how many equal pieces? That's the first thing we need to think of, right? 2 equal pieces. How many of those pieces are shaded? 1 of them is shaded, and 1 of them is not shaded, right? So we're going to say 1/2 is shaded, and 1/2 is not shaded. Now, Fadila said she wrote 1/1 as her answer. But if she wrote that, then that would mean that she had just 1 circle and the whole circle was shaded, because we have to look at our bottom number, right? The bottom number is going to tell us how many pieces there are, how many equal pieces. So if there's only 1 equal piece, then it's just 1 circle, right? It's not divided into anything. So that would mean the whole circle is shaded if she wrote 1/1. But we have 2 pieces, or 2 halves, and so 1 is shaded, 1/2 is shaded, 1/2 is not. Gabriel's is correct. He had 5 equal pieces. 5 of them are shaded, so 5/6, and 1/6 is not shaded. Let's look at Mikhail's. Out of 4 equal pieces, so this is correct, 1 of them is shaded. Now, our bottom number here is not correct, right? 3 of them are not shaded, but 3 out of how many? 3 out of 4, right? So 3/4 are not shaded. All right, and Saleha's here. Saleha also had 4 equal pieces. Sorry if I'm writing over your stuff, Saleha, but I can't see anything. 3 of them were shaded. 3/4 Or we know also if something is divided into 4, it is quarters, right? So we can also say 3/4. And how many quarters are not shaded? Just one. 1 out of 4, or 1/4, or 1/4. All right, let's look at our spinner down here. What fraction of the spinner is blue? So again, we have to think, how many equal pieces to this spinner are there? Zayed was answering these for us down here, and he's correct. 5 is our denominator because there are 5 spaces on this spinner. Now, how many of those spaces are labeled blue? We have blue here, and we have blue here. So 2 of them are blue. 2 out of the 5, 2/5. All right, what fraction of the spinner is red? Just 1, right? So 1/5. Now, what fraction of the spinner is green or black? So we have 2 things that we are looking for here. We have a green one and we have a black one. So how many are these together? 2, right? 2. We're going to change this. Okay, I'll stop it. 2/5. And our last one is kind of a tricky one, right? We just have to make sure we're reading this carefully. What fraction of the spinner is not blue? So we're not going to count these. How many do we have? A red one, a green one, and a black one. So how many is that? 3. So our answer is going to be 3/5 of the spinner is not blue. All right. I have some more things for us, but I'm going to save this for next week because we are out of time. It is 12 o'clock. So let's go ahead and end it here. We will continue with fractions next week, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.